Okay, hello. Here we are again with another update of Monster Bash for the ColecoVision. I'm trying a different camera this time, so maybe this will sound a little bit better than the last couple times with all of the shaking from the case on my iPod Nano that I was using to record the video on. So let's see how this one does, plus I'm hoping that maybe the video quality will be a little bit better. I got some progress done this week, not a lot, but some, which I guess is better than nothing. As I said in my last video a week or two ago, that the next week or two is going to just be crazy at work, and that it was for sure. So had a little bit of time in between times to get some things done, and I'll show that to you today. Okay, so let's see, let's go over here to the Coleco. The other thing also is I finally found a better controller in my box of controllers. The list controller I've been using has been pretty crappy, so really need to either consider getting a rebuilt controller or something. Okay, so here's the build, and we are up to build number 9, and we'll select that. And then also, let's just start the game. Okay, so here is, let me put the controller down for a second. So here is where I am so far. The big difference is, as you should probably notice right away, is we got bats, right here. So what I did was, these right here I got to figure out there's something going on with the sprites, so these two are getting cut off here. The bats have two colors to them. I tried getting them to look as close as possible to the arcade, so they look pretty good. This one, of course, has some, problems because of the fact that the player sprite is on the same refresh line, so I got to work on a flicker system to get this stuff to look better. But the bats don't do anything just yet. But what's neat is instead of just drawing all the bats on here, I actually have the beginning of the enemy system programmed in, and this is actually the enemy system working. So all of these are separate objects with their own set of properties, and it should really start coming together really nice once I start programming in the logic for them to start moving and chasing your character around. Like in the arcade version, at first most of the bats are stationary, they're not moving, except this guy here and this one up here. For some reason enough are the two that the arcade version always seems to start updating first. So I'm going to try and do the same thing where I'm going to try and make it look like the attack patterns are as close to the arcade as well as possible. So that should be pretty neat. One of the other things I added this week was and I missed this actually, when you're running around, when you climb up the ladders, I didn't program the down animation, so there's the down animation. Finally got it where you can, so when you're climbing up and down, it actually looks correct to the arcade. And got the sprites pretty close, not perfect, but as you can see here, when I scroll over here, and you'll see some sprite problems. Obviously, there we go, like you can see them tearing and disappearing, from the limitations of the Coleco hardware. And I know that there's a lot of solutions out there for getting a good flicker system to work, so I need to kind of sit back and think what might be the best option for me, because there are going to hopefully be a lot of multicolor sprites, as you can see on the screen at once. And not to mention the Dracula sprite that will be up here, which will actually be a bigger sprite than any of the other sprites. It's bigger than your 16 by 16 pixel. It's probably, I'm sure it's just 32 by 16, but hard to say if I'm going to, use all 32 pixels high or not, and see how that handles. Obviously here you still see the glitches that I haven't fixed these candles up here just yet, and then someone was nice enough to point out, that obviously this one tears off and makes part of the door disappear. That's not supposed to happen. This will all be fixed the release or two. But first things first is I think I'm going to focus on getting the enemies moving and actually making it almost a playable little game. Then after that I need to make it where you can actually shoot. your little zapper. But other than that, so far so good. The other thing also that was big about this update was, and the nice thing is it's pretty seamless, you don't even see the difference. I really did a lot of optimization on the sprites. I was able to, the background, the yellow background for the character, it's actually just one single frame, but when you move it around behind, you don't even notice because all the red layers on top of it. So I actually just saved myself like 7 or 8 sprites, which is really great news because that means I should easily be able to get, I really think probably the first, all 3 levels of the arcade version in this with hopefully no problem as far as sprites go anyways. So far the ROM comes in at about 12K, trying to keep it under at that 32K limit like a lot of other games tend to, but we'll see when we get there obviously. But that is where we are right now anyways on the conversion. I hope in the next week or so to have some more stuff, but at the same point I'm in the process of moving as I had pointed out, so if you kind of look around here you can see I got a lot of boxes started going here, and a lot of stuff that I still need a box, as you can see in my game collection, so it's going to be a busy couple of weeks here. So, but yeah, there's where I am right now, and again, there's the where I am on Monster Bash. And thanks again for all the great feedback and comments on the forums. I definitely appreciate it, guys. If you see where I've really fallen short on something when the game gets a little closer to the arcade, let me know. One of the other things I'm debating on is in the arcade version, way up here, and there's not a lot of room on the ColecoVision version. There's a nice little moon and a cloud that goes over the moon, and then that causes all of the windows here and this background to turn to a darker color. And I'm going to try and do some palette swapping techniques to simulate that effect, but obviously my little moon and clouds will be a lot smaller up here than what the arcade version looks like. So I'm definitely going to have to change a little bit around, but the goal is if I can get the main play area here to look as close as the arcade, I think I'll be pretty happy with that. But either way, let's hopefully this will turn out to be a good conversion in the following weeks. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.